I put that on and don't ever call me Jay Leno. Well, Jay Leno screwed me completely. Should have been on the Tonight Show, and he wouldn't put me on.
Joe, you're going to have him on our show.
I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, before we get started, I want to, of course, thank our sponsor, Dante's Pizzeria, 415 Harvard Street. Had the eggplant tonight.
The eggplant tonight.
That
Nothing
looks
better
good.
than their eggplant.
Everybody's carved up. Make sure to see David when you go over there. It is the best Italian food here in Brookline, and even Pete partaked tonight. Yeah, and you know.
Said that last
Brookline
week, too.
Zone.
I know. What the hell is wrong with you? All right. Well, let's start the show, guys. And we start with the Patriots. And that was a good week on Sunday against the Saints. It felt like, of course, when you going into the game, Brady versus Breeze against two teams. The defenses are questionable. And needless to say, Tom Brady won out. Fantastic performance from Brookline's own Tom Brady.
Offensive player of the year, of the week, and over 400 yards again. How do you go wrong there?
Yeah, there was like low-hanging fruit.
Fish in a barrel, though.
Yeah, low-hanging fruit in that Saints defense. That wasn't that hard.
Yeah, but look, he was able to use. He only had 3 wide receivers to start the game,
I think all of them went down.
right. And you give Tom Brady, right, some time, and it doesn't really matter who's out there, right?
Well, he
The
had time
patterns.
the week before, too, and nobody got open.
Right. But still, look, he hit every pass that he needed to hit, right? I mean, he was on as opposed to the week prior. It was definitely off.
The offense that they ran the other night was very similar to the offense from the second half of the Super Bowl, which is a lot of dump downs to James White, just making quick passes, letting guys get out in space, make plays. It was a much more stable environment the other day than it was against Kansas City.
It was a completely different look.
Yeah.
And we've seen guys who've been Super Bowl heroes not play well the rest of their careers, but James White has taken it to another level. There was one catch that he caught, guys, about 10, 15 yards down the field, and I thought, who is that?
Yeah.
The guy looked
He made a change.
blistering
he had a
fast,
change
right?
of direction once that I went, whoa.
He's got like this dead leg move where he kind of drags a leg behind him and then he's gone. It allows him to turn on a
Switches
dime.
gears.
Totally.
I agree. He could be the next Lawrence Mulroney.
But he's a guy that took the success of the Super Bowl and ran with it. Didn't get complacent and
No.
came back, training camp, the beginning of the season, ready to bear.
No, each year he's brought a little something extra to his game. His rookie year, he stunk.
Oh, he was
He
terrible.
was awful.
Yeah.
He couldn't catch a ball, couldn't run the ball, he couldn't do anything. But each year he's added something to his game. He comes back, he works hard, he improves. Every year he's better.
Uncle Joe used to rip him. Do you remember Uncle Joe?
Yes, I
ripped
did. But
James
now,
White?
Changed his
I
tune.
pick him to be the MVP of the Super Bowl?
You
And
did, you did,
And he
yeah.
was.
So isn't it amazing how the Patriots keep coming up with that player? Kevin Folk gave way to, what was it? I guess Folk gave way to Vereen.
Who J.R. Redmond before him.
Right.
Well, we had Woodhead too.
We had Woodhead, and then we had Vereen, and now we've got White. It's just they always have that player in their stable. It's almost like he's got to have that guy.
Yeah, but they look for that guy to complement Tom's
Totally.
game, you know?
Yeah.
And they find him. Yeah, or they develop him.
But does a system make these guys stars? Because when they do leave, Vereen's just been an average player with the Giants.
I think the quarterback
been
has
injured,
something to
though.
do. I think the
Yeah, that's what I'm
quarterback,
saying, the
quarterback
right.
has something to do with making them stars, right?
Yeah.
He gets them the ball in a place they could do something with it.
So the Philip Dorsett trade, which happened for Jacoby Brissett, Dorsett looks like he could be an asset moving forward, especially seeing that we don't exactly have a ton of wide receivers. But I thought he looked pretty good in the game he played.
Oh yeah, I thought he's picking up things very well. He made a nice couple adjustments to the ball. Brady's throwing it to him. That's a big thing.
That's a huge thing.
I don't think it's really easy to come in here and learn the book that fast. And
No.
so we got to give him that for sure,
Yeah, and look, makes red zone a little more interesting now that Jacoby Brissett's on the Colts.
Sure.
We hate the Colts naturally, but you're rooting for Jacoby Brissett to do well, and that was fun to watch.
It was great.
Yeah, I was hoping he did better. I saw the score 13-3. I said, "Oh, great, good for you, Jacoby." Went over, I got right on the Indianapolis Colts website, seeing how the thread was going, and he never did a thing after that.
So I ripped the defense as well, and they were listening because the defense was better this week, right? And Wise, the 4th-round pick out of Arkansas, did he look like a man-child?
He's a force. He gets around the edge like they haven't had too many guys who can get around an edge like that.
Well, remember, you're playing against a third-string guy who had never played the position before, by the way.
Although he did play well in preseason too, so this isn't the first time that he's.
No, he played pretty well the
spiked.
first game, I thought, in limited action, right?
He's pals with Flowers, right?
Yeah, they're from the same
Same
University of
school.
Arkansas, right?
Same 4 years?
No. They did overlap 2 years, though.
Oh.
So look at the guy Rivers, who we thought was going to, contribute. He ends up in IR, and a guy like Wise steps in. So, like you guys were saying last week, the defense
It's going
just
to take
a
some
work
time to
in
get
progress,
It's
right?
going to take some time to come together.
And especially now the linebacking core, which again, who plays linebacker for the New England Patriots?
I can't name 4 of them.
Roberts, Van Noy.
Harris, who we picked
Harris
up from the
doesn't-
Jets,
He
looks
only
like
played 2 plays last week, I think.
yeah, he looks like a guy who's going to be put on the waiver wire soon, right?
Well, if it's a running team, he'll play a lot.
Yeah. Now, Bill is famous for getting linebackers at the trading deadline, right?
Like Van Noy's.
Van Noy's, Ayers.
Bachivius
Yeah.
Mingo.
Well, remember
Mingo.
they already got the guy and who played pretty well the other day, the kid Marsh, Cassius.
Cassius Marsh, yeah.
Yeah, he played pretty
He
well. I
played
thought he
half the
played pretty
plays.
well the other day.
Oh, so he didn't have that, whatever he had, the cross or something
yeah,
under
yeah,
his
yeah.
eyes and looked like a member of the KISS group?
I'm
Well,
not too
yeah,
worried
what's he,
about the
Dungeons and
linebackers because
Dragons?
McClellan's going to come back.
Jay McClellan.
This Irish moment
Yeah,
is
all he
brought to you
cares
by
is it have a-
curling
does it
on
have a-
Fairway Park.
Right. Does it have a Mick in front of the name?
Seriously.
I know.
They
what
took
is
away
your
his
love?
one play piece.
Shane McClellan and
Settle
Brock
everything
Holt.
down. They'll settle everything down for them there.
There's not one person who has
Very
Shane
athletic.
McClellan in their thoughts except
Yeah,
Pete.
tell
Very
Pete
athletic.
that McClellan's actually Scottish and see if he changes his tune.
He's Italian. He's got an Italian mother.
He's an athletic player. I think he's
Yeah.
He loves him.
But
All
they
right,
took away his one play there, jumping over the center.
his one play that he did one time. Yeah.
He'll adjust.
Well, I know he's not in the doghouse because he doesn't play enough to be in the Bills' doghouse. But one, Alan Branch and Malcolm Butler seems to be knee deep in Bill's doghouse.
Well,
early
there's
in the
already a
season.
system of reward and punishments being instituted. Van Noy just got a nice new contract, and Branch got sat on the bench. Butler got sat on the bench. So I think we're seeing sort things out. in
Every
that
year
defense.
there's a guy who gets sunset well before his time.
Yeah,
Chandler
right.
Jones, Jabal
Right.
Sheard bounced back last year, but it looked like he was done.
And he was
Jamie
gone.
Collins,
Right.
So I mean, one of these guys will probably bounce back, but Bill doesn't care.
And some guys get a reward.
Yeah.
I don't want to stir it up like last week we touched on,
Brady and
They said-
Giselle.
no, other than that. No, but there was an attitude problem after the loss.
Right.
It wasn't. They didn't say the same language. We all have to get better. It was an attitude problem.
That's
and
right,
we
Pete.
sat here and we tried to figure out who it was. I
We
wonder-
just figured out who
I
it was.
wonder if we just figured out who it was.
Right? Bill told you it was Branch and Butler,
Yeah.
and it was on the defensive side.
Yeah.
It was certainly Branch. There was no doubt it was Branch. Butler were not. I don't know. It could have been a game plan thing with Butler too.
Well, he might
don't
come
know.
back next week and just crush people.
Exactly.
But we
But he
figured
hasn't
it.
been covering himself with glory this year either.
No. How about that kid
No.
Jones? Jonathan Jones, the kid
Yeah.
who made the 2 plays in the end zone.
Lucky.
No,
he was
no,
beat
no.
on both of them.
No, Belichick.
no, that was-
Belichick came out today and said that kid played those 2 plays perfectly. You
He
never
was
hear him
beat,
say
but
that.
He did great technique.
So he's a
to
kid
take it away.
that took Butler's place.
Yeah,
So
Well, he played
so
really-
Belichick's pressing all the buttons. this
exactly
week.
right.
Well, he played really well in special teams last year. Remember, this guy was a street free agent.
He's a 4. I think he ran a sub 4.340.
Well,
He's
and
just
don't
small.
forget
He's
also,
quick.
Bill
He's got
didn't
good,
want to. He seemed very reluctant with Butler. We all thought he was great. He was going to be. Bill just was very reluctant with him, and maybe it's going to pan out.
Well, Malcolm clearly burned his bridge with Bill throughout that whole process of contract, trade,
And that's
stuff.
going to hurt Malcolm because when it goes to contract time, well, you only started, say, 10
No,
games.
he's hurting his
You
value.
know, they look at how many plays you play and how many games you start. That's where they start how valuable you are, how productive you are.
Oh, especially
He's
if
going
Malcolm
for the
ends up.
money now.
Well, if Malcolm ends up being benched for half the season, then he's going to have to go on a 1-year deal, kind of show
that's
me
what
deal,
Joe was
right?
getting at, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't think it looks good for you when Belichick benches you.
Would Belichick trade Butler
Absolutely.
right now?
He would
Yes.
trade Butler. I almost would expect Butler to get traded this year.
Now, will he
Just
trade?
like Jamie Collins.
Yeah, just like Jamie Collins.
Okay, so you're
another
saying-
piece. They'll get another piece. If he feels that Jones can step in and Eric Rowe is good enough, he'll trade Butler.
You don't like Eric Rowe?
Oh, he's
I
played
like
better.
Eric Rowe.
Yeah, I like Rowe. I mean, Rowe has size that you just don't see
Yeah.
in a normal defensive
He takes
back.
all the big guys.
But if he thinks that he's got replacements for him, he'll trade Butler in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Get a piece, get a receiver, get another piece.
Well, we know the Patriots are sending out the stories trying to, soil Mr. Butler a little
Yeah.
bit right now, because obviously a very popular player in
Greasing the
Patriots
skids,
Nation.
as they say.
Yeah. So are they preparing us for trade? And will it be a trade for future picks, or will it be back someone that
they
can
need help
contribute
now.
for this season?
Or is he just trying to get Butler to elevate
Wake him
his
up.
game?
Right.
Yeah, wake him up.
Because we knew Butler was a 1-year deal. The rest,
Yeah.
I mean, Butler's gone after the season, no matter what.
Don't you guys think Butler will bounce back? I think
Yeah,
Butler's a good
I think
player.
he's
He's
too good.
proven himself to be a good player.
Well,
He'll
he's
bounce
angry
back.
about something.
Yeah.
He's angry about something.
Yeah, 'cause he thought he was
He's
gonna
not
get
just
paid.
Play himself out of town.
Yeah. Oh, I love
well,
Butler.
all the mistakes about the pay were made by him.
Look, right. But the guy has been he was a
could've
Super
gotten
Bowl
paid if he
hero.
wanted.
He's played very well in his position. Then he sees us sign Gilmore for huge money. And he's like, what about me?
They
he has
offered that to
every.
him.
No, not that
They didn't offer
package.
that
Not that
package.
package.
Not
No,
even
he-
close.
No, absolutely not. All right, so
They offered him $10 million though, didn't they?
Yeah.
yeah, but the defensive backs get a lot
10
more
versus
these days.
Yeah,
13.
but not, guys in the second and third year either.
We love the NFL. We
Undrafted.
love to watch the NFL. But I'm telling you, boys, injuries are killing the NFL right now. And so my question before we go around the NFL to talk about injuries is, one, Rob Gronkowski, how do we get him to the playoffs in one piece? Is that possible?
You stop sending him over the middle on those seam routes. Every time he gets hurt, it's on one of those seam routes. It was the same thing the other day. He got
wide
taken
open.
down at the end of a seam route.
So can you? Is it
gotta hit
possible?
him in the hip. If you don't hit him in the hip with your
Yeah.
head, he's not going down.
I'd have him running out patterns and fly patterns, and those are the only 2 patterns I'd run into the playoffs.
I guess you already got like Cooks and Hogan and Dorsett to do those.
Yeah, but if Scott's point, if you're looking to protect him,
Preserve him.
then you got to stop some of those over the middle routes because that's where he gets clobbered by 2 guys.
The only way you can protect him is literally have him only in red zone areas where he just goes to the end zone and he sits. Otherwise, they used to have a guy years ago. Remember Don Hasselbeck? That's all he did.
But here's a
big
question
guy.
for you guys: would you sacrifice?
Russ Francis,
Would you
right.
accept an 11-5 year, maybe even 10-6, to protect some of these guys in their health?
Well, 10-6 should be good enough, right?
But would we
It'll win
be
the
okay with
division.
that, or are we going to
But
come
you won't
on?
get a bye.
But are we going to come on every week and B and M about how the Patriots aren't the same if he's actually starting to rest some of these guys and preserve their health?
I don't think it's been his MO to rest anyone.
I totally agree. It's not his MO, but would we be okay for that team going 11-5 or 10-6 if it meant that Gronkowski?
I don't
was
even
healthy?
think if we tried to lose 6 games against the crappy teams in the NFL, we could do it, especially
They got a pretty-
AFC East.
outside of the AFC East, they got a pretty tough
It's a
schedule.
tough schedule this year.
I don't want to go to the AFC Championship game to Oakland I think that would
So
be
you would not be willing to
No, we
rest
need
him.
that home field advantage. It's been proven in the history of the Patriots that's
absolutely
very
right.
important to get to the Super Bowl. How many
That's right.
times do you want to lose in Denver, we could end up going back there again?
I think that Oakland quarterback, he's the next Tom Brady. He's the heir apparent.
Oh, I don't know if we would be talking about the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots if we had to play the Raiders in the AFC Championship game. That would have been a problem, boys. Derek Carr would have lit us up.
I don't know. I'm
Matt
not sure
Ryan,
about that. Right. I
you
mean,
know.
Matt Ryan did for a half.
I don't know. Derek Carr's.
Real.
I think it was a year too soon for Oakland last year. But, I mean,
it would have
was
been a tough
legitimate
game.
argument. Right, legitimate
But
argument.
on the point of they got a lousy schedule, if you name the top 5 teams in the NFL, they play them all this year.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule.
Yeah,
The
well-
next few weeks are tough.
Top 5 got teams other than the Patriots, they play them all.
Yeah. All right, so it's prediction time. We're playing the Houston Texans, who are so tough to watch. They're so pathetic on offense.
21-13. Patriots.
Oh, all right. That's
jumped
Josh's
all
prediction.
over.
All right, go for it. Joe, your prediction.
Jacoby Brissett got that many points. Well, let's go 28-10.
All right. Pete.
I say 21-10 Texans.
Wow. Texans.
Oh, I don't mean that. But I do think the Texans are going to play them a lot tougher than most do.
They did last year in the
I
playoffs.
think they're going to be
Playoff,
really
yeah.
tough.
Okay. All right, so you have them winning? Patriots?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, okay. Patriots win 28-7. There you go.
There you
Yeah.
Oh,
Big smile on his face.
come off that.
Yes, I am. All right, we're going to the Red Sox, and it's just so very nice. I just want you to know that the Red Sox are into David Price for $62 million. They've already paid him $62 million. And guess what, boys?
They got
David
another
Price,
$90 million to go, don't they?
Price showed up for work
Yeah.
last week. He actually pitched against Tampa for a couple of innings. So I ask you, do you guys really see him contributing in a positive fashion in the playoffs?
I'm buying it. I'm all in.
All in.
I'm all in on Price as Andrew Miller of this year's Red
Oh,
Sox.
for God's sakes.
Playoff MVP.
Playoff MVP.
Yeah.
Based on what?
Based on the inning he threw the other night.
Yeah,
Almost
he
a
threw
perfect-
against Tampa.
Almost a perfect inning.
The worst team in the
Almost that perfect against the worst offensive team in
He has,
baseball.
all kidding aside, he's got the kind of stuff that could come in the 7th inning of a game and just dominate for one inning or two.
He could reinvent himself in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
In this town.
Oh my God!
That's right.
What has David Price
could
done in
turn
the
into
last
Goose
2
Gossage
years?
overnight.
Is really?
Yeah.
Sure.
You-
He won
The odds
17
are he
games
won't,
last
but he
year.
could.
He won 17
What are you
games
saying?
last
He
year.
can't pitch anymore?
I'm just saying, why are you giving him this unconditional love? Andrew Miller was the top.
There's no love.
Unconditional
No,
love.
Andrew Miller.
We drove Andrew Miller out of town.
No,
Andrew Miller arguably was the top reliever in baseball.
And David
last
Price has
year.
Andrew Miller stuff.
No, he
Yes, he
doesn't.
absolutely does.
Not even close.
Absolutely
David Price
does.
could be dangerous in that role.
Absolutely.
Based on his
plays.
playoff history?
He doesn't have that
But
stuff
not
anymore.
as he's-
He doesn't
not
have
when
the.
He had that stuff the other night.
But he's the,
95.
I think what statistically he's one of the worst playoff pitchers of all time.
No, not as a
He
reliever.
did win his one game as a reliever.
It doesn't matter. He's still in the mound. He's got
No,
no
he's going to
pitches.
be a reliever, though. It's a whole different
It's a
thing.
very-
It's a
completely
whole different
different
mindset
psyche.
when you
It's a
got to
different
save
psyche.
yourself for 6,
You
7
go.
innings.
He knows he can go in and go hard, all out for 2 innings.
And he's got the pitches. I don't like him.
I
but
don't
he's got
like
the
him either.
pitches.
But I'm telling you, he's going to be the playoff MVP.
Where do you guys get this? Based on
I
what
want to
this
be
year?
from. I'm from Missouri on this too. Show me first.
I have to be honest with you. I don't even remember David
from
Price
Missouri.
pitching. Yeah, right. Exactly. Via Brockton. Seriously? Oh my-
He's got to show us.
I agree. Show us. Yes, he owes us $62 million. Yeah.
So he's going to
Well,
start
what
to
do you
earn it
wanna
back.
do, not play him?
Yeah.
I
What's the
don't even know
solution?
what to do with him. I have to be honest with you. I think the jury's still out whether he's in the playoff roster.
If Price can come out and throw 95 miles an hour for 2 innings and throw good flat fastballs and sliders for 2 innings and get guys out, you don't want that on your roster?
But when has he proven that he could do
Well,
that?
if you're going to play Cleveland, you
We
need
got
a
to see. We got to
situational
give him a
guy.
chance.
You know when he's proven he can do it? Remember when he shut us down in the playoffs for Tampa?
What, 2008?
Whatever. I mean, what? So he
Oh,
did
his
it the other
rookie year?
night. Right, he did it the other night. He's done it in the playoffs
Tony
before.
Fawcett.
He pitched well. He pitched well for Toronto in the playoffs in relief 3 years ago.
I know, but a guy like Carson Smith, who's all of a sudden come back
he
on the
looked
scene
pretty good.
and look really good,
He
and
looks
is
great,
actually
too.
an experienced reliever.
Right, but they're not mutually exclusive. They could both pitch really well.
No, but there's only going to be so many spots on the the
Trust
pitching
me,
roster.
you're
We're
gonna
probably
see
going
Price.
into extra innings every game.
Are you
so-
saying that you want to leave him off the roster if he's healthy?
I'm just saying that we have 11 games left. Let's see how he pitches. If assume he's going to make 3 more appearances,
Yeah,
right?
let's see.
Let's see how he pitches. And
It's not
before
a
we start putting him
We're from
before
Missouri here.
No, Russ has already given him the MVP trophy.
Well, I think
calling my
I think
shot.
I'd rather leave Matt Barnes home. Thank you very much.
Well, they're gonna leave Barnes home. They're gonna leave Hembry home. But there's guys like
You know, Matt
Maddox
Barnes
and
did a lot for them beginning of the season. He had a
beginning
lot
of the
innings.
season.
oh my God, do you trust him?
He was a company man.
He was. He was a coming man. I will.
we will give him a full share
No,
of
but
whatever
Pete,
they get in
Pete
the
makes a
playoffs.
great point. Actually, you know how baseball
something's
works
coming my way.
because he did do the right thing. And
Oh, yeah.
is
Took-
he
took
owed by
one
the
for
Red
the
Sox?
team.
No, he's not. He's not going to make the roster. He's done
Pedroia
with
threw
him.
it back in his face and says, "I didn't want it."
Yeah.
Farrell is not taking Maddox over Price. Trust me. Price is going to.
Will he take Carson Smith over?
No, he's going to keep them
Keep
both.
both.
I'm telling you, how many pitchers do you think we're gonna have on the
We
roster?
need 11
Is
pitchers.
Workman in that?
I don't know. He has not pitched that as well lately, has he?
No, he hasn't. But
He's
is
tough in
is
the
Fister
situation.
on your roster? And we totally jinxed him. It's,
He
forget
was
the
a
S.
Cy Young last week.
Forget the
Ignore
SI.
everything
You
he
didn't sign
said.
him to a 5-year
Yes, I
contract
did.
last week.
Seriously.
Thank God you're not running the show
Oh my
in
God.
Fenway.
You should have signed Doug. I had you at least 3
Yeah.
You
years.
would have
and-
signed him five years,
No,
$100 million contract. 5 and 20. Doug, will you take 5 and 20?
Yeah, 5.
Please, Doug.
Really?
Please take 5 and 20.
Come on, right? You're the next Mitch Hill. Did you know that?
Right, yeah.
No, I would have given him 3 for
3 and 60.
45.
You would have given him 3 and 60.
He would have been very happy if I was the
Yes, he
GM.
would have.
You had him at number 1.
You're on the wrong side. You need to be an agent. You do not need to be a GM.
Doug, but you have to hand it to Doug. Is Doug leaves nothing to doubt. He craps the bed in the first inning.
That figure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but sometimes he pitches out. He gives up a home run in the first batter. and then he
That's the
starts-
one hitter for the game.
Last Wednesday night, we go to the game before we sit down. We're down 5-0.
He hadn't got out of the car. It was 4-0.
I know you get these alerts and it's like, oh my God, what's happening?
Why are we even going?
All right, so the prediction from the Grandstanders live desk, and this is breaking news because my sources at Red Sox run deep, as you guys know. Hanley Ramirez will be cut at the end of the season. They are done with Hanley. Would you agree?
Either that. I mean, they could also trade most of his contract away.
You think anyone would give him
I
anything?
think it's time to make room
Yeah.
for one of the Devers, you know, to be the new Hanley, you know.
Yeah, I'd be happy. I've never liked Hanley, and I'm not. It's not to say he's not. He's a really good hitter when he cares to try, but 9
Yeah,
times
but
out of 10 he doesn't
isn't that
try.
getting tired,
He
though?
doesn't try.
Yeah, I think they're all tired of him. Look, they're not even
yeah.
playing him.
It's played itself out, and he's got 2 bad shoulders. How many guys bounce back from 2 bad shoulders?
But they're not making any excuses anymore. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, they're not making the bad shoulders.
I don't know, shoulder, bicep, whatever you want to, whatever body part you
Yeah,
want to
fill
throw,
in the
that's fine.
blank.
Yeah, because he's healthy enough to play right now, and he's being sat.
He's
Right?
just trying to jack every pitch out to left field. That's the only tool in his tool chest at this point in time is to try to
Launch
jack a
one,
ball,
yeah.
launch one. That's
No,
it.
it's
That's
a
all he's
great
got.
point because Dave O'Brien, who's in the Nesson broadcast,
yeah.
said maybe when he comes up here he can run into something.
Well, let me put it this way: have you missed him?
No.
No.
You
Well-
forgot about him, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but I think then in the playoffs, Rafael Devers, who's having serious problems at third base, I think he may end up being your DH. moving
Vasquez-
forward for the play-
Vasquez or
with Nunez
Devers.
playing third.
Yeah, I would keep. I was saying to these guys, keep Swihart on the roster.
Right.
That allows you to DH Vasquez or pinch hit for these guys late in games. I
That's
would
a
do
great
that.
point. I had not thought about putting Swihart on the roster, but that's something that they seem to be very happy to have that third catcher
And
right
in
now.
case of emergency, you don't want him starting out in the outfield, but in case of emergency, you could stick him in left field too.
That poor kid has had the career of
really
careers on this
cursed.
team. They got him all over. He doesn't know if
Cursed.
he's coming or going.
But yeah, I think he'd be a useful player on the roster.
Absolutely.
Would you rather have Swihart or Chris Young at this point? Chris Young can't hit the side of a barn.
And remember, Swihart can play the same positions as Chris Young too.
That's
He can
right.
Go to the outfield.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
And
that, yeah.
anything that could potentially keep Brock Holt off the roster, I'm all for.
in favor
I've
of.
had my full of Brock
Do
Holt.
you, would you honestly think they're going to keep him off the roster?
Brock Holt?
Yeah.
No, they're not. Of course they're not. He's going to be on the roster, right? It's unbelievable.
He gets that Daniel Nava memorial slot on
Yeah,
the
no,
roster.
because they know
Oh,
he's
I
a
miss
gamer.
Daniel Nava.
No, if we lose the first game, where whoever, whether Houston or Cleveland, Brock Holt's somehow going to be in the lineup in the second game.
When that pop-up went out there last night, it was a 50-50 call whether Holt was going to get dizzy under it and drop the stupid thing.
I don't understand the popularity for Brock Holt. I seriously.
I like him at third
all
base
about
better than
effort.
Devis
It's all
right now.
about efforts.
Oh my
We love effort here in Boston.
Devis
He's a
can't
dirt dog, right?
He is a dirt dog.
He's a dirt dog.
Seriously, my head's
2017
exploding.
version of a dirt dog.
So, I love players, and I hate players, but I love players, and I showed a lot of love to Sam Travis. I carried
right.
the torch for
Unrequited
Sam
love,
Travis.
yeah.
But Sam Travis is Ryan
Let you
LeVar
down.
made. He is a stiff, right? I mean, here's a guy that he's probably played 20, 30 games for the Red Sox. He looks like he's not even a 4A player, right?
Yeah.
He looks like, right?
Yeah,
The
he's
only
a-
time he gets a double is with a generous scorer on an error. That's the only time he's getting an extra base hit.
Because the dialogue was that, look, we have this great young team, and then next year we'll have Sam Travis at first base.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, he's got a weird, hacky sort of right-handed swing. It just doesn't look like he's going to make it.
And I told you the no batting gloves. I told you that would catch up to him. Who does that except Doug Mirabelli and Sam Travis? Doug Mirabelli's selling real estate in Michigan. Which, hopefully there's a spot for Sam Travis. All right, so Christian Vasquez. We have buried Christian on this show
Yes, we
at
have.
times.
Let's face it, he's taking some vitamins. That kid.
You think?
He's on the avocados. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
He
it is
started
pretty
the season
remarkable.
poorly.
It's pretty remarkable.
Pretty
I'll
remarkable.
tell you.
Right, because here's a guy that,
He was. If it was an automatic out, he was it.
yeah, and the scouting report
Some of these
said,
guys, some of these catchers, though, Peter, are late bloomers.
and we know the scouting report said that he's not much of a hitter, right?
Yeah,
And he
well.
never will be, but
300.
defensively. But now all of a sudden, he's your DH at times. And he could very well DH during the playoffs.
He's trending up. I remember Veritek by this time of the year, he couldn't hit nothing.
Well,
He
he's
was-
only,
he hasn't
but remember,
catches
he's only
much, though.
played half the games, yeah.
Yeah,
only
right,
half
but
the
not
games.
anymore, though. Sandy Leone looks like you couldn't even
He's
put the
terrible.
ball on a tee
He
for Sandy Leone.
He looks like Sandy Leone looked like last year.
I know, you're right. Serious, but I think maybe we need a new pharmaceutical rep in the Red Sox clubhouse because we're not hitting home runs, and we didn't have this problem last year
And the
when
rest
Big
of the
Poppy
majors
was
are
there.
hitting them like they're going out of style.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Unbelievable.
They set the record last night.
The,
for a couple weeks
the
ago.
juiced balls didn't get delivered to Fenway this
No,
year.
they did.
Right?
Have you ever
They
seen?
got last year's ball still.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a Red Sox team that, I mean, in comparing, of course, to the home run statistics around the major leagues?
Are we
this
last?
pathetic?
Are we last in the major league in home
no
runs?
power
I
at
believe
all.
we are.
We
It's
just
unbelievable.
We were for a while. We were.
I'm pretty sure we are.
You know,
Well,
we spent the whole time we didn't talk about Benintendi at all. What he's been doing.
Oh, well, he's look. At times, he feels like the star of the Red Sox, right?
Yeah.
Everything turns to Benintendi, right?
At the right time too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a clutch kid for this young.
Yep, he's a keeper. But
Yeah.
you'd still trade him for Giancarlo Stanton, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you'd trade him in a deal, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
I'd
yeah.
say I'd say goodbye to him for Giancarlo.
15 home runs for 60.
Yeah,
So-
you
I'll make
think?
that trade.
I asked Russ a couple of days ago, would he trade Devers for Longoria, and you said no.
No, I would not trade
Evan
him.
you do?
Longoria?
Yeah.
How old is he now? He's been around
He's
forever.
got
but
to be
he's still
31,
young.
I
No,
think,
he's
31,
30-something
yeah.
years old. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it? Would you
Well,
do
I
it?
think
He's
I'd
20 years old. Devers is 20 years
I
old.
really
Is he?
like Evan
Oh,
Longoria.
Longoria.
He's 20.
Oh my God! But like a year or two ago, I would have given you half the team for Longoria.
No, I understand that.
mean,
It was a year or two ago, and he's 2 years older. He has not set the world on fire.
Is Evan Longoria ever going to leave Tampa anyway?
Well,
Great
they
point,
signed him to that big, long, like 10-year contract.
Evan Longoria seemed to get pretty big in the last couple of years too.
Yeah, but I just think that he's complacent because he's in Tampa.
Yeah.
You put him Fenway
I think
Park.
He'll make the
you
move
may
to
get
first
you may
base.
get 3 good years out of Longoria, but you may be looking at 12 good years for Devers. I'm sorry, it's just too young of a player with too much upside to trade for him.
You've seen everything that Longoria's
That's
going
right.
to do.
I don't know.
He's
yeah.
not Longoria's not getting better.
Yeah, it's one thing to trade a prospect for him. Davis is already a bird in the hand.
That's right.
He's
That's
a-
like bringing in Jim Tomei, you know.
I know, but I don't know. You're right. It's the allure of having Longoria on this team. I just think he would be wonderful. All right, we got to go, boys. Want to thank the boys, of course. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes, of course, the lovely and talented Adrian. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for a special show. 2004 World Series hero Keith Folk will be here live on the Grandstanders Live Show. That should be a fun night.
These are the David Price of the 2014.
Yeah, right. And he's a big hockey fan, so this is going to make Pete very happy. So that's our show for tonight. My name's Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.